Hey Jeff, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your address position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's first of all just take a look at your posture. Your spine's straightened on a tilt. It's a little too vertical. Your legs come down into a little bit too much of a bent position. Your arms then hang down in a little tight to you, and the golf club works out to the golf ball. So if I were going to work on your golf game, I mean, we can revise this posture real quickly. All we've got to do is just take your tail, move it out and up. Move your sternum out, up, and forward. And what that's going to do is just going to put your spine on a little bit more of an incline as such, okay? By getting your tail out and up, it's going to straighten your legs a little so your legs are only unlocked and not bent. And then from there, we can let your arms hang down exactly as they are off your tilted spine, but that's going to position your hands further away from your thighs. And then your golf club can work out to the ball. So we're going to take you from this sort of tall spinal position where we're bending the knees, sitting back on the heels, hands really congested to the core, and really free that position up. Very important to achieve proper posture from the get-go, because this is the axis point that we're going to basically build our swing on. Okay. From here, let's go ahead and also take a look at our alignment. Now you're in a very closed position, meaning that your feet are aiming out to the right. We carry that out towards the intended target. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel. Your feet parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge. And with that philosophy in mind, we can still see that we're set up way out over the trees to the right here, when the center of the fairway is way back over here. So we're going to have to see some form of a compensation in your golf swing, whereby you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to swing the golf club on plane, start the ball somewhere at the yellow flag or just inside of it, then shut the club face down pretty aggressively, and hopefully be able to impart the right amount of spin to hit a pretty severe draw or hook back on line. Now typically that's not what we see from people. Normally people are set up this close, they're going to come over the top, they're going to attack the ball from an outside to an inside swing path, and that's going to help them pull the ball back towards the intended target. Or it's a combination of both. So let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison between you and Jordan Spieth. I've got some color-coded lines on the screen here just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. Now, before we go ahead and take a look at the swing, let's just talk about some of the things I've already discussed. Look at the posture, right? His tail's out more, legs aren't as bent. Spine's tilted over more, hands are further away from his legs. So that's exactly what I was getting at with the little adjustment I wanted to make with you. Also look at his alignment. Feet, knees, hips, forearms, and shoulders all running parallel left of where he wants to hit the golf ball. So simply put, he wants to cut the corner. The corner of the fairway is over here. Okay? Feet are running parallel left of where he wants to go, because again, parallel lines on camera will have an appearance to converge, so he's running perfectly parallel to his intended target. So at this point in time, let's just go ahead and observe the golf swing. Want to draw the club back by creating good shoulder rotation, moving the arms and hands as well as the club. Want the club coming back along the red line on plane. Also through the early stages of the golf swing, we want to incorporate some good wrist hinges into play, whereby we're going to transition the club head from below and in front of our hands to getting that club head above and behind the hands, and then working the club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. And when we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we either want to have the left arm of the golf club situated on the yellow line, anywhere between the blue-yellow V zone, or even physically up on blue, as we see with Jordan Spieth. We want to have full shoulder rotation. We want to do this about a stable right leg, and we want to maintain our posture that we created at address. So with you, let's watch you initiate your takeaway here. So your hands draw back around you very nicely, and obviously for people that are set up this closed, we will see the club shaft and the club head move underneath and inside the swing plane, which we're seeing right here. So the club shaft and club head are obviously well inside of plane. As we continue to move back here, as long as we keep turning and we get some wrist hinge into play, the club will recover. So taking the club inside of swing plane is not really the biggest deal in the world. It's not going to wreak a lot of different havoc on your golf shot. So club's now recovered. Do see the arms pretty congested to your core. There's no real arm extension. That inner right triceps pasted against your rib cage. Left arm's going to start working sort of across your chest cavity. So let's keep on going here. Arms now start to avalanche up your chest cavity because you're realizing that the swing's too shallow and you can't keep swinging around your hips. So you start picking your arms up, and actually now you start getting a little bit better extension. Your inner right triceps now away from your rib cage without the elbow flying away, which is great. So when we finally get to the top of your backswing, unfortunately it keeps running on a little bit too far. I would have liked you to sort of stop the club right about here. I mean, that's perfect. The reality is, I mean, you've turned well. Pretty stable right side. You've maintained the posture you achieved at address, although we want to improve it. Arms are in good geometry relative to the core. Club's in good position relative to your arms. Now, the club's not within the blue-yellow V zone like what we're looking for, but that's because you're aiming way right. So the reality is the club is in a good position based on where you're aimed. It's just not in a good position based on where we want the ball to go, which is the center of the fairway. So everything looks pretty decent right here. Now, as we create our transition back in the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left, fire our knees and our hips laterally to the target, unwind our core, fire the hands, and in doing so, we've got to bring the golf club from the blue-yellow V zone back down onto red, which is where the club originated, and that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. The golf club has returned back to being on plane. The other thing we want to observe at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. I refer to this as the backwards check mark. It simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone. This is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing. Aside from the fact that he's also going to hit the ball straight due to the fact the club has returned back to plane, as already mentioned, which is a main criteria in producing straight golf shots. Something I want to point out here, though, is that this pre-impact position is almost the exact same position between the lead form and the club when we created our hinge. So here he is at address, we turn, we create our hinge, and guess what? Boom! We're right in the exact same position between the lead forearm and the golf club. Aside from the fact that there's more retaining of angle coming into the ball because we still have more wrist hinge to create, therefore we'll have more wrist hinge to retain coming down, plus the movement into impact is an athletic move, so the body looks like it's in a different position and there's more retaining of angle right back into that same position. Okay? And this is the most important part of a golf swing right here. So let's watch create your transition back into the ball after we get that extra little swing there. You drop your hands really nicely. That's fantastic. Really, really nice job. Feet and knees are moving, so that's good. So a nice athletic move back into impact. And boy, oh boy, you know what? You're in. Let me go one more frame. No, I'm going to bring that back. So right here, basically what we can take a look at is here's your lead forearm. Here's your golf club. You've got your backwards check mark. Creating power in your golf swing will not be an issue. The other thing we see is that the club is starting to return back to plane. So this is superb. So all we want to do now is we want to continue to track the club coming into the ball. Again, we can see with Jordan Spieth, club return back to plane here, tracks into the ball directly from the red line from on plane. And as stated previously, this is what produces straight golf shots in accordance to our alignment, assuming lastly that the club face squares up via having a good grip. So let's go with you. Come down. Bang. Right on plane. Perfect. And go to the next frame, still on plane. So if we connect the dots, we can see that your golf club basically returned to plane here, pretty much in the exact same spot as Jordan Spieth. The club continues to come into the golf ball directly from plane. So the great thing about this is that you can produce a straight golf shot in accordance to your alignment. The only problem is, what did we say about your aim? Well, your feet are going way over here. Target line runs parallel. We're set up to hit the golf ball here. So that doesn't do us any good. Club's coming down on plane. We have an opportunity to hit the ball straight based on the alignment. Alignment's way out to the right, but we got to get the ball back over the center of the fairway. So the only aspect left, in Jordan's case, to hit a ball straight is to square the face up, which he does, and he hits the ball straight. Well, what do you got to do to your club face to get the ball back online? If you go back to the beginning of the analysis, I mentioned you're going to do one of two things as far as a compensation is concerned. You're either going to swing the club down on plane and then have to flip your hands to impart right to left spin to hook the ball back online, or you're going to come over the top, swing the club from out to in and try and pull the ball back to the red flag. Well, you're not doing the latter, you're doing the first one. So at this point in time, this club face now, it has to severely close at impact for you to get this ball back to the center of the fairway. So let's see what the club face does. Club face definitely closes because we can see the ball headed right here in this direction. So the ball's not going out over here where you're aimed. It started inside. But that ball still has a lot of work to do to get back over to here. So let's see how long I can sort of keep track of this ball and see what's happening to it. So it does look like the ball is drawing, just not sure how much. So what you really just need to realize is that your golf swing and the end result really comes down to a timing factor for you. How much do you flip your hands through impact to get that ball to spin back to the left? If you don't square it up, you're going to block the ball out to the right. If you overflip your hands, you're going to hook the ball too far left. And if you time it okay, you will find the intended target. But there's just no way to consistently make the ball curve approximately, what are we talking here? We're talking 60 yards, right? So you're having to curve this ball from where you're aimed approximately 60 yards or more right to left. It's just too tough to do. Okay? Athletic ability looks great. Hands work well. They come back. They fire through. Core works well. You coil. You uncoil. You've got good footwork. You carry yourself through to a finish. Getting back to what we talked about, you need to improve your starting position with your posture, your balance, your distance away from the ball. You got to improve your alignment. You don't have to improve your downswing plane, so if all you do is improve your alignment, swing the club as you are, then you can hit the ball straight based on that new alignment. And you won't have to flip your hands. So that's where we're at. And you certainly have the ability and potential to become a really good ball striker on a consistent basis and learn how to hit the ball straighter as opposed to having to hit these sort of low running draws or hooks. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a little program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to reach out. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, I hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video here. Take care.